Hi guys, I'm Victoria and this is what Victoria read.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing my December TBR, which promises to be huge and chaotic, so it should be fun for you guys to watch and fun for me to attempt. In December I'm doing kind of a greatest hits of the TBRs that I've tried out this year. So I'm going to pick one book for each month based on who was choosing or what was choosing for me that month. So it should be good fun. If you are new to my channel or you haven't seen any videos from me before, I decided at the end of 2020 that I was no longer going to choose my own TBRs because it is too stressful. So instead I've had a variety of different people in my life and different games from Booktube to help choose each monthly TBR. So I'm going to run through what I've used for TBRs this year, show you which books. As you can see, I've got a few games to play, and yeah, we're just going to put my December TBR together. Should be fun. So in January, as usual, I've got my list. In January, I read ARCs. So I'd been given a few ARCs by a cousin of mine who's working in publishing. I also had some ARCs from Book Break and a couple of other publishers. So in January, I really tried to clear down and get caught up on my ARCs. So in December, my first book for December is Hare House by Sally Hinchcliffe. This is an ARC from Book Break and it comes out in January 2022, so I'm bang on time. And it says on the front, was it a place of refuge or danger? And I have to admit, I can't remember much about this. So it says, a young woman arrives in Scotland looking to escape the shadows of her past. Moving into one of the cottages on the remote estate of Hare House, she begins to explore her new home and its beautiful wild surroundings. But Hare House is hiding something sinister, and as winter draws in, with snow falling soft and heavy, its dark history of grief and madness begins to emerge. A stunning gothic house mystery, this gripping and atmospheric novel is perfect for fans of The Lonely and The Silent Companions. And The Silent Companions is one of my favourite gothic novels. So yeah, that is my first pick for December. Then in January, I decided that I was going to, February, we were locked down. And I decided it was perfect time to read as many of the hardbacks on my shelves as I could. I love a hardback. I've said this to you guys before. It's my kind of preferred reading format, is a nice big hardback. I am going for a small hardback for this prompt, and that is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I'm currently teaching this to my year 11s as their GCSE novel, but I always read it on Christmas Eve. It's become kind of a tradition over the last few years that I curl up with this on Christmas Eve night once all the chores are done, and I read this lovely little novella. So I am going to do the same this year, and that'll be my hardback pick. Then in March, Twitter controlled my TBR. So a week or so ago, I went on Twitter and I asked for numbers between 1 and 56, I think, which is the number of books on my TBR at that point. The lovely Rhiannon from The Welsh Reader, who I will obviously link along with anyone else that I mention in this video, gave me the number 3. She was the first person to respond, and that correlated to Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. And it's one of the most beautiful books on my shelf. It's a book I've been really excited to read, and I was gifted it for my birthday, I think. And why can't I find the if note? That's not very helpful. And yeah, it's one that I've been really excited for, but I've also been putting it off. I don't know why. I feel slightly intimidated by it. So I was really glad that Rihanna picked it, because I have this feeling otherwise it might have sat for a while. So yes, I'm going to be reading Ariadne. And then in April, I did Play Your TBR Right, which is this. So that is the game that the wonderful Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin plays every month. And Gavin, if you're watching this, I don't know how you do that every month. It was so stressful. But yes, I played that game that month. It was fun. It was a good month of TBR. And as you can see behind me, I've got these set up so we can play now. The two books that we are going to be picking between. So Gavin plays it so that he has one book that he wants to read and one book that he doesn't, so like a punishment book. I don't have any punishment books on my TBR, thankfully. So what I've done, I've decided to go play the oldest book on my TBR versus the newest book on my TBR. So the oldest book on my TBR is Opium and Absinthe by Lydia Kang. This was sent to me by Charlotte from Shah from Thoroughly Enjoyed Books ages ago. I think it might have been like May time, which is really embarrassing, so I'm sorry, Shah, I haven't picked this up yet. So this is the oldest book on my TBR. Then the newest one is a pre-order that I ordered myself, which is a Psalm of Storm and Silence by Rosanna A. Brown. I read the first book in the duology, A Song of Wraith and Ruins, at the start of the year, and it was one of my surprise 5 stars. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. So these are the two that we are playing against. I'm going to have this one at this end. So if I lose, I'll be reading this one purely because it's massive and also it's new and I do want to get to this one. So if I win, I'll be reading Opium and Absinthe. So the idea is that I'm going to turn the cards over one at a time going this way, and I'm going to guess higher or lower, and we will see what we get. Okay, so Gavin, honestly, I don't know how you play this every month. It stresses me out. So we're starting off, we're starting off nice and high. So we're starting with a king. This is the other problem with my setup. The cards don't really want to stay up. Right, so we're definitely going to go lower. So we've got 4. Okay, good. We're doing well. We're doing well. Well, 2 out of 5. So I'm going to go higher. 10. Okay. So now I'm going to go, excuse the background noise. Lower, which is a 9. Just about lower. Okay. Last one. We're going to go lower. 6. Okay. So because of that, let's sit back down again now. Because of that, Summer Storms and Silence will go back on my TBR shelf, and I will be reading Opium and Absinthe. And I can't remember anything about this. I think it was one that my Amazon wishlist recommended, and I thought it looked good. I've not read anything else by her. So it says, New York City, 1899. Tilly Pembroke's sister lies dead, her body drained of blood with 2 puncture wounds on her neck. Bram Stoker's new novel Dracula has just been published, and Tilly's imagination leaps to the impossible. The murderer is a vampire. But it can't be, can it? And that's all I'm going to read. Okay, that sounds really exciting. We'll give that one a go. Then so that was April. Then in May, my stepson Charlie chose my TBR for me. So I asked him to pick a book from my shelf, and he went for The Liar's Girl by Catherine Ryan Howard. And it says, her first love confessed to 5 murders, but the truth was so much worse. And when I asked Charlie why he picked this was also gifted to me for my birthday, I think. Yes, this was from Charlotte at Books and Bargains, and I think she just sent it to me at random actually. She says, I haven't read this one, but I loved her other book and currently loving another. So that's high praise. And when I asked Charlie why he picked it, I think it partly might have been because it was the nearest one on the shelf, but he did say that he thought it looked creepy because of the blood on the leaf. So yeah, sounds good. We'll give that one a try. Then in June, I played Scrabble TBR, which is the game that Kaz from Cats and Cameras plays, and that was really fun. I really enjoyed that one. I actually can't find our Scrabble board right now, so instead on my computer, just here, my laptop, I have got a random letter generator. So I'm going to generate myself a letter, then I'm going to pause filming, go and grab a book with I think it's the title has to start with that letter, and then I'll be able to show you what I got. So let's see what we've got. Generate random letter N. Okay, got the letter N. I will be right back. Okay, so as it turns out, I don't have any books that start with the letter N. Literally none of the 50-something books on my TBR shelf start with the letter N. So I had to swap over to author's surname. Couldn't find any of those either. So we have gone with The Unit by Nini Holmquist. I will find out how to say that before I review the book. N. Why is N such a hard letter? So this was one that I saw recommended by Kat at Brews and Reviews. It's got a blurb on the front by Margaret Atwood. And it was gifted to me by Shannon at 155 books for my birthday. And it says in her gift note, this sounds like a very you book. I haven't thought of this, but I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Happy reading. And from what I understand from Kat, this is set in a dystopian future where once you get to a certain age, you're sent to the unit and you are then basically used for medical experimentation. And it sounds creepy, it sounds weird, it sounds exactly like my kind of thing. So I'm putting this in for my Scrabble pick. Had to stretch it slightly, but we're making it work. Okay, next in July, Charlotte from Books and Bargains controlled my reading month, which was a really fun reading month. She picked some really good books. And for this one, she recommended directly to me Every Day in December by Kitty Wilson. She mentioned this in a recent reading wrap-up because I think she had an arc from NetGalley. And she thinks I'd like it because it's set between Bristol and Bath, which is where I live. And also every single chapter starts with a Shakespeare quote, which does sound good. But also, this does not sound like my kind of thing at all. So I'm a little bit sceptical with this one, but we are going to give it a go. And also, her and I have agreed that in exchange, she will read The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. So we'll see what she makes of that. So this is a very Charlotte book. she's going to read a very Victoria book. So it says on the front, 2 people, 1 month to fall in love. And I think this is set, so we've got one character who loves Christmas, one who hates Christmas, and I think it's set between Christmas and New Year. And it says, but as midnight on December 31st draws closer, Belle and Rory's time together is coming to an end. With a little help from Christmas miracle, could Belle find the one thing she really wants underneath the mistletoe? Which sounds super cheesy. I'm not really into romance, but we are going to give this a try. I'm going to read this between Christmas and New Year in that week. We are hopefully going to be away for some of it. So I feel like this should be a nice kind of easy Christmassy read. So that's Charlotte's pick. Then in August, Instagram controlled my TBR. So again, I went onto Instagram a couple of weeks ago and I asked people to give me again a number between 1 and 55. First person to respond was Jade_reads, who gave me the number 43, which corresponded with Between Sky and Sea by Nicola Penfold. I read her other book, which is somewhere there, When the World Turns Wild, last year, because Charlie's class were reading it at school, and obviously then there was the lockdown and stuff, so we got a copy to read at home. I absolutely loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars. Beautifully written. This is her next book. I don't even know what it's about. I don't even really want to read the back. She's just become one of those authors that I just immediately want to pick up. This is an absolutely beautiful cover. All I know is that it'll be middle grade, it'll be environmental. When it says, when you live at sea, the sky is everywhere, it's a 5th element. So yeah, I'm really excited to pick that one up. Then in September, I played Bowties and Books TBR cards, which I really enjoyed. That was a really fun game. Really recommend them. I bought the cards via Bowties and Books or Jessie's Etsy store. They arrived really quickly, even though I'm in the UK, and they are just stunning quality. Look at these. And then each one's got a different prompt on the back. So they've got all these amazing illustrations and you've got different prompts. So I'm going to have a little shuffle. And as I said when I did that video, let's just adjust my jumper. I love this jumper, but it's a little bit baggy. When I did it first time, I'm not going to show you me shuffling because I do it in a weird way and I don't need the comments. So let's get the tin out the way. All right, I'm only going to pick one this time, which will be the September pick for my TBR. So let's just have a little shuffle and then I'm going to draw this one. Okay, a book you're unsure about. Interesting. I'm going to go and have a little look through my TBR shelf again. So a book you're unsure about. I'll be right back. Okay, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. When I drew the card, I was like, oh, book I'm unsure about, but they're all books that I've chosen, so I don't know why I'd have one I'm unsure about on my TBR. However, I then remembered I've still got 2 books from the books that my brother gifted me for my birthday, and they're the only ones that haven't come off of my wish list. So I have decided to go with Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, who wrote Never Let Me Go, which is one of my favourite books of all time. My brother wrote a note inside. He always puts a little post-it note and it says, "This is not his best, but it's still wonderful and terrible in equal measure. I also didn't see the very obvious plot twist, so I found this to be very affecting. I think he's the best author alive." So the reason I would say I'm unsure about this is I've heard really mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it, so I'm kind of intrigued to see where I fall. And I think it's about a robot or an AI. Yeah, from her place in the store, Clara, an artificial friend with outstanding observational qualities, watches carefully the behaviour of those who come in to browse and of those who pass in the street outside. She remains hopeful a customer will soon choose her, but when the possibility emerges her circumstances may change forever, Clara is warned not to invest too much in the promises of humans. In Clara and the Sun, Kazuo Ishiguro looks at our rapidly changing modern world through the eyes of an unforgettable narrator to explore a fundamental question: what does it mean to love? So yeah, I think this will be really interesting to read in December. Okay, next. So in October, Leanne from Literary Diversions picked my TBR. So I dropped her a message last week and sent her a picture of my TBR shelf, and I was like, could you pick me one more book? And she went with The Animals at Lockwood Manor by Jane Healey, and I was so excited when I got the message back from her. I read The Ophelia Girls by Jane Healey this year, which was an art copy that I had, and I loved that book. I thought it was so atmospheric, it was so well done, and this was her debut, and Leanne picked it for me because she thinks it's perfect to be reading under a blanket when it's dark and cold outside, which I find really, really intriguing. And I think this is about a woman who, during the Second World War, we're following Hetty, who was put in charge of the Natural History Museum's mammal collection. So she's basically put in charge of getting all of the exhibits out of London to Lockwood Manor, where they will stay safe for the duration of the war. Hetty soon realises that perhaps London would have been safer, so I'm really intrigued. I've got another beautiful cover, and somebody must have sent me this for my birthday. Yes, this was from Charlene at Reads, and she said, wishing you a very happy cake day. I love this book, so I hope you do too. So yes, that is the next book on my TBR. And then in November, my husband has controlled my TBRs at the time of filming. I'm currently reading through that TBR. It's going pretty well. I've had a few mixed results, but he chose the books. So again, I asked him to pick another book, and he went for Toffee by Sarah Crossan. And he chose this because it was the 12th book on my shelf, and the day that we were choosing books was Charlie's 12th birthday party, so that's why he picked this one. But I'm really excited that he did, because first of all, it's in verse, so it's going to be really quick. I also read Here is the Beehive, I think it's called, by her this year. Really enjoyed it, and immediately put loads of her work onto my wish list. And then this was sent to me for my birthday by Karis from Karis's Corner, so thank you very much, Karis. And I don't even really know what this is about. So it says, I'm not who I say I am. Marlena isn't who she thinks she is. It's not safe for Alison at home, and so she runs. But with nowhere to stay, she hides in the shed of what she thinks is an abandoned house. Except the house isn't empty. An elderly woman, Marla, lives there. She is lonely and often confused. She mistakes Alison for a friend from a past called Toffee and invites her in. And that's as much as I need to know. So yeah, that was Gary's pick. And then obviously in December, I'm playing this kind of like greatest hits of my TBR games. So I didn't have anyone to choose for me. However, I do have a buddy read that I needed to fit in, so I'm putting this in as my December prompt, and that is Bird Box by Josh Malerman. I'm going to be reading this with Chloe from Chloe Reads Books, our second buddy read together. I got this when I was in HMY, and it says this book was donated to the Honesty Library at Western Favell Shopping Centre, but I think I got it when I was with Steph in HMY. And I haven't read a Josh Malerman before, or have I? Can't remember. Did he write The Cabin at the End of the World? If that was him, I've read that one. If not, I haven't. I have seen the Netflix series with Sandra Bullock, which is her on the cover, and I really enjoyed it. This is set in a world where there is some kind of alien life form that comes to Earth, and if you look at them with your eyes, you go mad and you kill other people, and then you kill yourself. And we're following a woman who, I think it's a few years later after the invasion, and she's trying to get 2 children to a safe place, and she's got to do it with all of them blindfolded. So I'm really intrigued to read this, and looking forward to reading it with Chloe. And yeah, that's the final pick for my TBR. So this TBR is pretty big. However, I'm going to be on school holiday from the 18th. So hopefully that means I will have some time to get through some of these, because look at all of those books. Wish me luck. I'm going to put this down now, because otherwise I'm going to drop all of them. There's going to be books all over my lounge floor. Okay, there we go. So those are all the books that are going to go onto my December TBR. Where should I start? I mean, I'm going to do Bird Box later on in the month with Chloe, and the Every Day in December I'm going to read between Christmas and New Year. But other than that, where should I start? What order should I put them in? Because I don't know. If you've got to this point in the video, please leave me the book stack emoji, because this is a massive stack of books. Please subscribe if you would like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone. Bye.